a local manager, a psychopath, stalked me out of a store I used to shop in. And I caught him stalking me off and on. And then when I catch him, without really any sort of physical body language, just energetically, because he's a schizophrenic, and so he's under the influence of like a certain energy, and I can influence that and make him change his behavior. But he would come back to stalk. So he was flowing into this state of mind that I was, in a sense, drawing out of him just by being me. And a part of him, or an old personality from his life, that faced a lot of shock that was coming out and stalking me in the store. It was emulating perhaps behavior that he suffered from, that snuffed out a certain part of his mind. And pretty soon, it just went up and up and up and up until I had to leave. There's nothing else you can do at that point. I mean, this guy's blood is so polluted, right? And he had the permission of the owner. We found a way to get permission from him to do this. And I found out that the owner basically had getting a taste from childhood in my mouth. It's really cool. I think something about finishing that pentagram nature's thing. It feels like mother's milk. I actually feel like I'm tasting mother's milk. Yeah. She's milking me. Ouch. Yeah. It's like mother's milk in my mouth. Kind of like beautiful metallic taste. Not really metallic. It's pure nutrition. It's cool. Okay, let's go see what the river's doing. So that pentagram is, I didn't give it like an overt purpose, but I did in my mind. It was protection, safety from all malicious evils around me. So to preserve my children's lives, you have to be able to, or you can be able to sense energy about people. Many of them don't really mean you ill. Like, I've never been mugged by a mugger. The closest thing to being mugged is being anywhere near police officers. That's the closest thing I feel to being mugged. And others, similar types of people. Okay, so it's interesting. So this is where I built my little dam thing. See how the river's gone down? Now if you started, see now you could actually move all those logs over here. You'd probably get across. That's the fucking fuck of it. Now I could probably change the position. If I go over there, change the position of one and move those logs across, I could probably make a land bridge. Let's go over here for a second. So interesting as the river goes down. Interesting. Like for instance over here. So say if we get down onto this log, so you get down onto here, or jump down onto there somehow, or even just get down over here, get onto this log. It looks like you could almost jump over there and get onto that log, and you could walk over there and get over there. Right? And down here is looking pretty good too. I love this area. Not that I want to be crawling around these things too much, but I did a really good job. There's Tiwas. I did a really good job today. Nature seems to like it when I make pentagrams. It's kind of like real work. Establishes a certain order. And while I'm doing it, I'm just talking about evil things and evil people I've dealt with. I think I'll leave those logs there for now because we could easily get precipitation and the river will come back up again. So we would have done everything for nothing. Or if you make it strong enough, it could sustain the torrent, but not that. I didn't have much work today. So you can see I just sort of keep walking around the island. And visit different nodes. Did some work. Let's go this way. I like to visit this part of the river here. This is the place during the summer I prefer to cross. The way we were talking to horrible feeling in my phone. We don't mean anything. Okay? You're not raising your voice, that's good. But you are doing anything. That's not wrong. And here's what if I could have my phone. Do you mind if I don't have to ask you. And the question is, why do I? Oh, almost. Sure. You should have to protect yourself. You know, when you're shopping, you shouldn't have to protect yourself from anyone. Where would that take place? Not thinking of that. Where would it take place? Your place? You would be in the lounge there? Just you? Where there be lubricants provided? Toys? Do you like toys and things like that? What parts of your body do you like to use? Can I have a plate, please? Thank you. There's this sexual predator, this female. And I knew she was a narcissistic sexual predator. She wear a sign and hug people. And the first time she ever interacted with me, she wanted to hug me. And every time after that, they want to hug you, right? Hugs, hugs, hugs. One day she sat down. I would never hug her back. Because they don't care whether you're hugging them or not. They just want to touch you. She's not getting anything out of me, right? I'm protecting. All my chakras are armed, everything. And one day she sits down at a coffee shop where I'm busy doing my thing, meditating and everything. She says, I was running down on my knees today. Oh, really? Good for you. And would you have sex with me? And she just looks me straight in the eye. Do you want to have sex with me? And I just pretend like this is a normal conversation. You know, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not really in that place. And she doesn't say much and just gets up and goes away because that's all she wanted to do. That was her excitement for the day. It wasn't really getting to have sex with me. You could see that that was never going to happen. She just wanted to ask because then she could tell her friends, right? Who probably think she's somebody, or at least she thinks they do, that, you know, she asked this guy to have sex with him. Oh, and it was like a big thing in her life. Like, next time if I ever see her, I'm going to tell her to fuck a rusty rail. You know? Just fuck a rusty nail or something. Just a completely disgusting human being, right? And these are the kinds of women you meet around here. They're nothing. They're like, they can work, they can be nurses, they can run businesses, but they're just nothing people. It's demoralizing. You wonder, how is it possible for these people, these women, to get up and put on in their pants every day, and all the difficulties and all the things that are available to us in the world, and be such ugly fucking human beings, to be so fucking useless to the human race. It's amazing. Like, where do you fucking get off? You know? It's just demoralizing. There's nothing there to make you feel empowered as a human being. It's about being a human being. And I think that's the purpose that the royalty create these types of people. To really demoralize other human beings. You know, you're just looking at this person. You know, you could tell by the way she talked about her own family that, she opened them up, creating energy. She had no real ability anymore to care about anything. Not even really herself, but that's what she was enjoying doing. And you meet these predators. It's like, especially if they're retired, it's all about excitement, wine, travel, boys, men, doesn't matter which one. It's all about having fun, And that's, one of them was on the Facebook memorial for my Auntie Janet. And her sons had opened up this Facebook site, and she controlled it the entire time. She started taking it over, managing it, adding unwanted comments, spamming it, laughing, acting like she was the closest possible member of the family. Probably what my Aunt Janet thought she was, because my Aunt Janet was a lesbian. She was in the closet. She never got a chance to really openly express this part of herself, right? And, and that's fine. Like, you love who you love. The trouble, of course, is when you don't tell your husband that, or you can't. And it creates problems. right? Anyway, this woman, I don't think she's a lesbian, she also had a husband who died early. So they're not really lesbians, like their husbands do die early, right? I think they're shot, heart attacks, car accidents, all kinds of things happen to them. This is a known, it gets talked about on TV, but no one realizes it. The sudden accidental death of young with children is an epidemic in the world, right? But no one knows what might be causing it, which is the people they're married to. Because it's not just the women, but they have circumstances which bring lethal disintegration into the man's energy field. Boys who have grown up being sexually molested by women and by the rape culture of women and of society to accept all kinds of abusive behavior without, right? And so a lot of the local women, you know how they even get boyfriends. They're so fucking aggressive. Incredibly aggressive people. So I'm back here again. The island. I'm gonna hang out here for a bit now. Have some more food. Sit down. Repose. Working here. I might wonder, what are these people? So she takes over the memorial. There are people making very salient comments, but not her. She's having a good time. Yeah, because of the chemtrails, we don't get this. I'm not getting the full sun. I'll go through there. So many young trees. I noticed that education professionals, right, don't speak body language. Because body language is an emotional language. It's an instinctual language. And although women dominate such industries, childcare industries, I've never met a woman who spoke body language. They just get what they want, get what they want, get what they want. And their idea with children is to get what they want from them. What you want, not what the child needs. It's what you want. It's what you want. Don't call it the child's needs. Don't call it you don't know what children are. You don't know anything about them. Just because you have a pussy doesn't mean you know about children. Just because you can wax positive about how much you love them. Any pedophile can do that. I've been around pedophiles. I've studied them. Any pedophile can love children and love children, be good with children, blah, blah, blah. You're getting what you want out of it. See, I don't need anything from children. You do. You get paid to need something. You need them to be quiet. You need them to repeat things after you. You need them to ask you to go to the bathroom. You need to stand over there and talk this way and walk this way, right? You've projected those needs, which are your needs, into them. So they can never satisfy them unless they go outside of themselves. You're sexually abusing them. The only person who tells my child what to do is me. Understand, motherfuckers? You call yourself a teacher? You're never going to tell my children what to do. You're never going to tell me what to do, are you, you fucking piece of shit? Right? Right? I don't care what teaching degrees you have. You're never going to tell me what to fucking do. Right? You put away that shit. around me, around my pentagram, around my temple and my channel. You keep that shit away from me. Fucking teachers and therapy. You're not going to tell me what to do, right? You go fucking make your own home sound. You go fucking make your own house sound and leave people alone. There aren't enough occupations in the world that are about telling the truth. I'm kind of disappointed that little birdies haven't come along yet. And the sky is vaguely blue, but the sun is having trouble coming through. It's all chemtrail related. They just want to keep that sun away. I think in a sense that's the winter season for the local Illuminati or royal family. It's just a world without sun. They look forward to it, I think, every year. They keep that sun away as long as possible. So here, combined with weather control, we get summer until about July 1st. And it's January like 27th today. And then it lasts for about 2 weeks, off and on. I'll never forget the day that white woman was sexually stalking me from across the river. She got together and conspired with a friend of hers with white hair. And they were just glaring at me and conspiring to harm me. I could feel it in my blood, my heart. I was being stalked. I was being stalked as a man who had done nothing wrong. No to her sexual advances. And this went on for a year and a half. Her husband still stalks me, right? They leave me alone for the most part. They'll be like, "Hi, Landon." I don't say anything to him. He still keeps using my name. You fucking shit. My family's worked hard. Slam. Every time. And I have business with. Just Mitchell. You never want to tell a predator what they are, even though they can tell you what they are. They can say, I'm a predator when they're human, right? But if you say, oh, I hear you tell me you're a predator. So I used to talk about Catherine and Doug. See, Catherine and Doug decided to insinuate their mental state into this place in a way that hundreds of white people have managed to avoid doing all the years I've been coming here. And Catherine and Doug, they were under the unfortunate thought that I didn't have a home, see. And Catherine and Doug had no interest in helping me with anything in life, but that's their only interest in me. And Catherine and Doug are not here, thankfully. And Catherine and Doug are out helping other people somewhere. Imagine what they're doing to those people. And Catherine and Doug don't really know basic things about reality, ethics, and in many cases, which I've witnessed, their physical orientation in space and time. You would say it was almost like they're drugged, or they're hypnotized, or they're in trance, or they're drunk, but they're probably sober most of the time. Doug is an officer, and he lives in a trance every day of his life. Right? He has told me he likes to molest people. He generally favors motorists and homeless people, and he doesn't think that military ever kill people unnecessarily. Right? In fact, in many cases, he doesn't think they kill anybody. Right? And he carries a badge and a gun. The support of the Canadian penal system. Or the penal code. Yeah, this drink just fell over. That's evil, right? Well, it was sitting there and it just fell over. Things do fall over, but it's just interesting. The code is happy about Doug and Catherine because they work for the penal code of Canada. We're penal about Doug, okay? Or Catherine for that matter. And that's what you find if you study the Catherine and Doug's work. You'll find that in a weird sort of way, they're extremely penile. And those of various types of psychosis tend to have a very narrow capacity to communicate with other people, combined with a very strong compulsion to control conversation and control information around it, to manage it, to protect all kinds of things that only appear to have anything to do with the truth and goodness and law and nature. Okay, so they don't really have the competence to protect anything real that deserves to be protected. That's all over for them. Okay? And they symbolize a lot of Canadians, really, in so much as a lot of their sense of their environment and what makes them secure is not necessarily built on what is foundationally ethical and true about being a human being. So we can sort of over here and kind of more pursue a general discussion. So when you see the violence and the creepy things that come out of these people's mouths and family of theirs, I've interviewed family of RCMP, children of RCMP. I have family who've been raped by RCMP, and I've talked to the RCMP, and you get this sense of how they think, their values. You'll hardly ever talk to a police or RCMP officer in any, especially professional capacity, where they're not very strong about what they consider real and unreal, good and evil, and it's nothing to do with reality. Okay. Nothing to do with anything you think they should be paid for. They simply manage and protect local political and economic interests. Under whatever pretext they've been trained to think that they could muddle together and cobble together in the interests of the law and civil peace, right? And whether they seem to do that more or less, it doesn't matter, because they're all part of the same insect hive mind. So you just to be near them, and if they stop you for a traffic ticket, you want to kind of spray yourself with an antiseptic. You want to get some garlic on a crucifix, because you're not dealing with a human being who's really under control of themselves anymore. They're possessing a costume to lower their inhibitions. Right? You trust that they're only going to lower their so much, and you just do the best you can. But if you've ever been in an environment, even who aren't the police or in their plain clothes, and you notice what happens if you're next to them and you do nothing, no matter what they're doing to you, that they just do more and more and more and more and more. And pretty soon, right, we've let them give us traffic. But notice that they don't only do that to everybody. They can do that. Stop, ticket, stop, ticket, stop, ticket, seatbelt, alcohol, stop, ticket, stop, right? But they can do more. They become more ambitious. They can be a little more earnest. There's actually a retired police officer who makes videos about them, right? He makes videos about the police. You start to study the police, the earth, you start to see like the culture, the family, their children, the mothers and fathers. And none of these people are happy with these people. They take them away from their family, right? They become dislocated from their children even more. That goes for a lot of working emergency services, medicine, other professions, definitely job professions, education. Things very much take general. They take people away from their children. They take families apart from each other. They give them ways to protect each other from each other. But what's going to protect you from them when they're standing in front of you? Their life and their various pathways and highways and byways. Now you're sitting before someone who wears a costume as part of their job. And you know that costumes help people to lower their inhibitions. It's then a suspension of disbelief. Like a vaccine is just going to produce antibodies that help you, and they're not going to render your children or their children sterile to some degree that you may not even notice, except everyone just starts having girls. And they're all no offense to lesbians, right? And that they're going to lower their inhibitions, and in this crudity of the human mind, and most of its molestation and training, are somehow going to deal fairly with you within a certain range of parameters. And you're supposed to feel good about that, right? You don't want to put yourself around these people. They're proud that you're scared of them. They know you are. And they're like, oh yeah, I know people are scared of me. That's understandable, because we're the police. People are supposed to be scared of you, right? I had a high school principal who'd been a police officer. I had an economics teacher who'd been a police officer, and he was crazy. He was insane, right? He was insane. He was a very smart man, make no mistake. You know, people say police officers are stupid, but what's his name, Mr. Schuin, that was a smart man. I respected him, you know, but I wouldn't have wanted to have dealt with him when he was a police officer. Oh look, we got some sun coming through. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. Come on through, the sun is nigh. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. Come on through, the sun is nigh. The sun is nigh. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. Hey ho, the sun is. Woo, the sun is coming through. Yes, woo. Yes. Right? We're casting those shadows away. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. The sun is nigh. The sun is nigh. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. I can feel your warmth on my face. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. The sun is nigh. The sun is nigh. Hey ho, the sun is nigh. The sun skies in my precious sky. My sacred body and my sacred mind. Hey ho, the sun in the sky. My sacred body and my sacred mind. Mind, my sacred mind. My sacred mind. Hey ho, my sacred feet. I love to stand on my sacred feet. Hey ho, my sacred voice. I love to use the wind of my sacred voice. Can you hear it? Through the trees, can you hear it? In the birds and bees, oh, my sacred voice, and the sun and the moon, the heavens and the earth, and everything true. Hey ho, body, hey ho, my sacred mind. Hey ho, my sacred body, and hey ho, the sun and the sky. My father and my mother are fine. Hey ho, blood is clean, the sun in the sky, I am green. Hey, hey, ho, my blood is clean. I hang out with the trees, and that's what I mean. That's why the birds like me. I like to sing. So people make the mistake of thinking I'm homeless, usually because they're homeless. You know, only a homeless person would think I'm homeless. I've had homeless people think I'm homeless. Nope, indeed I am. Let's go for a walk. And go follow the sun. Hey ho, hey ho. I say hey ho, I say hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, dee 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 dee, hey ho ho, dee 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 dee, hey ho, the sun in the sky. I clean my body and I clean my mind. Hey ho, I clean, my blood is pure. I walk like a sacred witch upon the earth. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey. Whew, a little cold. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. You can still see my breath. Do I really make